So at the iron, my seam allowance is going to be pressed toward the bias side. And then the edge of the bias is going to be pressed toward the raw edge here at 1/4 of an inch. So when you're done pressing, both of the edges should be facing each other, like this. Once the edges are facing each other, what we're going to do is we're going to take this folded edge and we're going to cover the first stitch that we did. We don't want to fold it so that the bias ends up covering our seam. We're just trying to cover this area here. You just want to cover it by about 1/16 or an 1/8. This project is good to use pins. When you are going to pin this down, you're folding this over so that that edge is covering up the seam. You want to make sure that you place your pins perpendicular. And again, I am not pinning through here. I'm only pinning the binding to the seam allowance. So I'm pinning here like this. The reason is when we get to the machine, we want to sew up to the pin and just pull them out as we go. So remember, we're not pinning through the work, we're just pinning the bias binding to the seam allowance. When we get back to the machine, we're going to be running a stitch right here along the edge, a 1/16 inch away from that folded edge. And we're going to repeat the same steps for the other side so that both sides will be bound.